And Coach, if you could just get started with a comment about Saturday's game at South Carolina State.
I thought that was a great football game. Great atmosphere. Two really good, I thought, football teams battled. Unfortunately, we came up on the short end of the stick. But I thought that our guys played really hard. It was some areas that I wasn't pleased with. I thought all year we had done a really good job in third down conversions on offense, as well as red zone. And we get a huge takeaway. We turn them over the second drive of the game, and inside the red zone, and we come away with no points, missed field goal. Then later we get the ball on the 4-yard line going in, and come away with no points. And then obviously, defensively, I thought that Shaq Davis, their receiver, he had a big game for them. Probably the best game that he had this season. But he's a really good football player, and he's a gamer. And the kicking game obviously is a thorn in our side. We missed field goals again this week. And over the past 2 years, we've left 13 points out there with missed kicks. And we lose two of these games by 4 points. So points are a premium, and we got to figure out a way once we, get in the red zone like we've been doing in the past. We got to execute and put points on the board.
Our first question's from Lawrence Davis. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Although it was a tough loss, the possibility of still playing in the Celebration Bowl is still there. So how do you make sure that this one loss doesn't turn into 2, 3, 4, and so it doesn't snowball moving forward?
You're definitely right about that. We can't let South Carolina State beat us twice. And, we're not talking about the Celebration Bowl or championship. We weren't doing that prior to. It's just about the next game, next opponent. I'm not a mathematician. I can't figure out how it's going to work. And I told the guys, don't even worry about all the trying to figure and who needs to beat who and all this other stuff. So we're just going to focus on Delaware State this week, get a game plan and try to execute that this weekend and get a win. But we'll just focus one game at a time and let the chips fall where they may.
Gotcha. And then, what was the atmosphere like in the locker room to you? And then do you feel like, coming in, that Sunday practice, Sunday meetings, was the team focused and kind of ready to, kind of erase that, and kind of get to the next step, to Delaware State?
It was tough in the locker room. It was tough. Guys were hurt. And, I understand that when you put this much time and effort and energy into something and you're passionate about it, they have the right to be hurt and disappointed. I was disappointed. I told the guys we had 60 minutes. We had our opportunity. We had 60 minutes to win that football game, and we came up a little short. We battled. I thought the guys fought hard, and we fought to the end. But we did come up a little short. I sent the guys a message after we got back Saturday night. I'm still proud of them. It's still the same group of guys. We're still a good football team. We just lost a football game. So, I told them I still loved them, and we're going to move on and shake back next week. But yesterday's practice, we made corrections and we talked about Delaware State, and the guys still had their heads up high. So we're a prideful group, and I was pleased with how we shook back the next practice.
Gotcha. And then last question, you're talking about, a prideful group. I wanted to talk about your linebackers. Coming into the season, they were kind of, a question mark, but they've been a strong point for you guys, the last couple of games. Kind of talk about what you've seen from your linebackers over the last, 2 to 3 games.
We've improved a lot at that position. We were young coming in at the linebacker core, and I thought that our run fits were much better. I think our discipline at the linebacker, the second level linebacker position, has been much better, and the stats have shown that. We gave up some yards to South Carolina State, but we kind of held them. I think they had 122 yards rushing. We had 243 yards rushing. So obviously, we did a decent job there. We like to keep people under 100 yards. But the leader of the group, Jaki Brevard, is steadily improving every week, and he's a reliable young man.
Our next question is from Trayvon Miles. Go ahead, Trayvon.
Couple of questions. Knowing what Saturday meant, how do you prepare going forward? Or, you said you've talked to your guys. Obviously, you're moving forward towards Delaware State. Do you think, or how have you, kind of seen, has that been difficult for the guys based off Saturday, or how do you think they'll respond moving forward to that?
We have another opportunity to play football. That's what it's all about. And, if we beat South Carolina State, It's going to be the same thing the next week and the next week and next week. So, we knew what it was. You got to win the football game. And just because we lost a football game in the conference doesn't mean our season is over with. We still have a good football team. We can still have a great record. We can still have a great season. So, like I said, guys are disappointed, but that's over and done with. So, we're moving ahead.
Davius threw a key interception in the red zone in triple man coverage. What was your reaction to that when him throwing that interception in the red zone towards the end of the fourth quarter?
Defense, we got to get a stop. Still plenty of time left on the clock. He was just offered to read. The other guy was open. He should have thrown it to EJ Hicks. But he made a bad decision and threw an interception. So defense, let's go out and get a stop. And defense went out there and we held them to a 3-and-out. Got the offense the ball back. So we still had an opportunity if we could work our 2-minute drill late in the game. And I thought in the first half he didn't get settled. They got quite a bit of pressure on us. I thought the O-line played well in the run game. But in the passing game, I thought they got a little more pressure on Davius than I would have liked to have seen. And he wasn't as settled as he had been in the past. It was a lot of, plays that we made in the past 6 games, and we just didn't make them this past week. The ball was either overthrown a little bit, a couple of drops here. But you got to make those plays in championship caliber games.
What are you looking for moving forward in the MEAC and going into Del State?
Del State's a very good football team. Watching film all night last night on them, I think they're just as good as South Carolina State. And then they just lost to Howard. So it's a lot of parity in the conference. You got to come to play, bottom line. And, we got to get those mistakes corrected. I thought we played hard, but we had too many penalties. We had some costly penalties that killed us. And, we got to win the kicking game. We've got to score points. And everybody matters, offense, defense, and specialists.
And our next question is from Chris Clark. Go ahead, Chris.
Good to see you again, Coach. Hope all's well.
All is well. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing well, hanging in there. My colleagues have taken up most of the questions. I've been checking the boxes off over here, so making my job easy. But I wanted to ask you about Del State in the ground game. They got a guy in Gillis that might not he's averaging 5 yards a carry, but he's able to break them as well. You're going to get a steady dose of that run game. What are you expecting? How do you shut something like that down? Because I know you got the people. Is there anything special or different, or is it just making sure that you cover your man and cover your fits?
That's it. We're going to do what we do. We're not going to have a huge, change up our whole defense to stop these guys. I thought, the last 2 weeks we saw really, really good running backs. Schematically, they do some things that can cause you some problems, but the running back is good and they have a couple of them. But we just have to be sound with our run fits and our discipline, like I say, every week. And I think we'll be fine with that. But they are a dangerous ball club.
Coach, coming up after you is sophomore linebacker Jaki Brevard. Can you talk about Jaki and how he's been growing in the program?
Jaki, great to have in the program. And when we recruited, like I always say, it was about recruiting good people, good student athletes. And he's been very good in the classroom, just, as well as on the field. He is a local legend, I'll say, local talent. He's from Southern Durham High School. He's coached by one of my former coaches, Darius Robinson, over there. So he's been a blessing to have in the program. Great family, and making home visits and being able to talk to him and get to know families is always a special thing. So I think Grandma and I, we FaceTime Miss White. We FaceTime probably twice a year. I try to get hit up for her birthday. So we have an interesting relationship. But he's a pleasure to have in the program, and he's one of the leaders of the defense. So, Miss White, if you're watching out there, shout out to you, Miss White.
Hey, Jaki, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Serber. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here today.
All right, thanks for having me.
If you could open up by talking about Saturday's loss, obviously a tough one.
Yeah, I would say it was definitely a tough loss, but I couldn't say that our team is not ready for this. Like, we built for adversity. We got our chin up, and we're looking up to the next game.
All right, very good. We'll start with questions from the media. And the first question's from Shemai Cook. Go ahead, Shemai.
I have said in the past that you guys have the best MEAC defense. How do you can you talk about behind the scenes connecting with the D linemen and the secondary and the safeties? Can you talk about how you guys connect in the off season and going to be like I said, one of the best defense in the MEAC?
Well, I have to give that credit to our coaching and our coaching staff. They did a great job this offseason of just making sure we played together, doing like little festivities or team bonding activities, just to make sure we had that bonding off the field. So that way, when it's on the field, we just play hard together and with each other.
Thank you. What are you looking for into going into Dell State?
Dell State, pretty good football team. They're in the MEAC, so they're tough. We can't really take them lightly. We don't take any team lightly. So we're just gonna have to prepare like champions.
Next question's from Lawrence Davis. Go ahead, Lawrence.
So Jaki, just wanted to talk a little bit about you and Max a little bit. I know you guys coming into this year had some big shoes to fill. But now I feel like on defense you see either 45 or 54 somewhere on the field. Man, how have y'all kind of grown together? This season.
Honestly, it's just been during practice. We believe in working hard. Max, he works hard every day. He works for everything he gets. And it's just, I feed off him and we feed off each other. We feed off the whole defense. When you play together like that, it's kind of hard not to feed off that energy.
And then just kind of talk to me a little bit about, it seems like you have fun, man, while you out there on the field, man, head bobbing, you in the rhythm, man. So kind of talk about how much fun is it to play with the guys around you, every Saturday? Man,
it's amazing. It's like when you're out there doing what you love, knowing you worked hard all off season, and you just, for those moments like that, it's just like you got to live in it.
And then, moving forward this season, what would you like to see from your defense? What do you guys need to shore up and focus on moving forward to make sure that you guys, achieve the goals that you guys want to get to?
So I would say we really just have to make sure we stand together, keeping our energy and staying positive, sticking to the script, not really getting distracted on, last week or what happened in the past, just making sure we keep moving forward and keep fighting and being a great defense.
And our next question's from Trayvon Miles. Go ahead, Trayvon.
Hey, Jaki, Trayvon Miles from ABC 11 in Durham. Coach talked about, the ability to bounce back. I want you just wondering about the mood in the locker room after the loss. How much that game meant. And what have the talks been like amongst the players as far as moving forward, with goals still in front of you?
So we have like a lot of older guys that we know we have some young guys that's under us and they're watching us as well. So we know that we have to be the example and show them the way we supposed to handle things. Like it's an L, it's football, it's a sport. So you're not gonna win them all. So we have to make sure we keep the good energy up for the young guys and make sure we're looking forward to keep these train rolling.
Jaki, Coach mentioned how you were a local guy. So if you could just talk about your path in joining the NCCU family.
Wow, the path was, it was pretty amazing, man. NCCU was the only school that really believed in me, and they saw something in me that a lot of other schools, they act like they saw, but they didn't really take the chance on me. So I'm just glad to be here, and it's a blessing.
And what have you enjoyed most about being an NCCU Eagle?
The process. I can't explain how the process has just been, just seeing the process and how I've grown and how everything has changed around here. Coach has done a great job of building up this team and bringing us together. I've seen it grow together day in and day out.
Great. We have another question from Lawrence Davis. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Yeah, Jaki, real quick, I just I have one more question. I know you're kind of a physical player on the field. People kind of describe you as having that dog, and you who is that first person that kind of gave you that mentality of hard work, that I got to just grind every day kind of thing. I got to bring that attitude every day. Like, who was that first person that kind of instilled that in you?
I had to say my mother. She works hard every day. I've seen her go to work, travel around, putting pain in every day, coming home. That's just seeing that's just what fuels me every day to just go hard and do my best.